Boston got a triple dose of great news. We're going to start off talking about the injury news of Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. Why haven't they been playing? What's been really going on? And what's the timeline for their return? On the back half of the show, it looks like Brad Stevens has made another roster move ahead of the 2025 playoffs. So we're going to break that down, introduce you guys to the new guy, and possibly what he could bring to Boston. Before I jump in and start with Jrue Holiday injury news, go on ahead and like this video if you want Holiday to have a healthy recovery. As we know, he has been injured for the last couple of games, and I'm going to dive deep into that. But I want to make sure that we have well wishes out there because, look, I love good vibes, and the Celtics need all they can get as they're in the home stretch. Go on ahead and like this video for me. So as you guys know, Jrue Holiday is dealing with Mallet Finger. Never heard of it? Same. But now I've done a lot of research, and I pretty much have my PhD. I don't even know if that's exactly what you need to be a doctor. But basically, we're going to break down what is going on with Jrue Holiday. So he has damaged the tip of the tendon in his finger. That is kind of what mallet finger is. So he's pretty much jammed it to the extent where the nerve has gotten some damage. And also, the finger tends to droop and bend towards the palm, so it's not even straight right now. I can only imagine how hard it is to play basketball when one of your fingers is continuously bent. But what Holiday is now going to have to do is that he will have to wear a splint for a period of time to help straighten that finger back out. So essentially, think of the hardest time you've ever jammed your finger and then multiply it by 10. Holiday even told reporters he didn't know what it was. He's just been taking the steps that these physicians and these doctors have been giving him to return back to the court 100% healthy. So what we do know about his process moving forward is that he will not need surgery, or he has not opted into surgery at this point in the season. This is definitely something that he can play with in the future. It's just not going to be the most comfortable, so it may affect his game. You hope it won't, but if he's not healthy and not feeling great, I can only imagine that some of that is going to show. But he's also professional, so he may play through it. So what he said is that the doctors pretty much told him that he reportedly broke his finger. So like I said, think of the worst time you ever jammed it and then multiply that by 10. And unfortunately, there is no timeline set for his return just yet, but we do know that he is currently working to try and get back as soon as possible. So when Jrue Holiday was asked, how are you practicing? How are you dealing with this? He said, we'll see. Shooting, dribbling, catching, they're probably all pretty weird and honestly inconvenient. Once again, the finger is bent. He's struggling. I know when I stub my toe, you might as well call out of work. I mean, I am just useless for the rest of the day. So Holiday is trying to overcome those barriers, but he can play with it. It's just more of a pain management thing. And Joe Mazulla did update reporters earlier today that he actually was at practice the day before the Portland Trail Blazers game. He went through the Celtics practice, and he said that he even actually got some shots up, and he was doing the drills with the team. He was with them the entire time. But then, when it came to talking about his availability for Portland, he said it's a possibility. We'll see how he feels. So because this is not anything that requires surgery, it's really going to be up to Jrue Holiday and the doctors on whether or not this is going to make the injury worse or if he should be able to play and be able to tolerate that pain. And I know that Jrue Holiday is a professional. He's also a very competitive athlete, so he's going to want to try to play. When he has missed games in the past, he hates it. Every athlete hates it. You're sitting on the bench, watching your team fight for a win, night in, night out, and you can't help them. So if Jrue Holiday is able to pain management his finger and it's not going to make it worse, then I would expect that Holiday should be back by some point. And we also know that he's only missed 2 games so far this season. He did jam it going for a rebound against the Detroit Pistons. So we didn't have him against the Cavaliers, nor did we have him against the Denver Nuggets. So it would be really nice to get that point guard back for the Boston Celtics because this is the last trial run, if you will, before the playoffs, and I would love to see Jrue Holiday healthy. I would also like to see Kristaps Porzingis get a little bit healthier. But here's the beauty of it is that it's not an injury. Kristaps Porzingis has just been dealing with an illness. And we know illnesses are probably a lot easier to overcome than a knee injury, an ankle injury, or a mallet finger. But KP has been dealing with, I guess, a pretty significant illness. That hasn't been reported, but he has missed the last 3 out of 4 games for the Boston Celtics, so he must not be feeling pretty well. But like I said, triple dose of good news. Gary Washburn did come out and said that Porzingis also practiced along with Holiday on Tuesday ahead of the Trailblazers game. He's obviously still questionable to play against Portland, but maybe he's starting to feel better. Now, Porzingis, in the game that he did play, which was against the Detroit Pistons, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, he said, I was not good. I did not have a good game. And you could watch him, and he didn't look like he should have been playing that ball game either. I think he tried to rush it back, but he has been dealing with something. So we do hope that whatever it is now out of his system, and these practices gearing up for these games ahead, or more so just getting him back into the flow of things, because missing 3 out of 4 games may be a little bit tough to just jump right back in. And I miss Kristaps Porzingis. I miss his dunks. I miss his threes. I miss his 7'3" presence in the paint. If you guys miss Kristaps Porzingis, go on ahead and hit that like button for me. The more likes we see, the more Kristaps Porzingis can feel the love. If he's on YouTube, he's going to see this fan base wants him back. We want him to come back absolutely healthy. Now let's get to know the new guy in Boston. Who is he? How can he help the Celtics win? And what does that contract look like? But first, let me tell you guys about our sponsor on Celtics Today by Chat Sports, and that is PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I'm playing PrizePicks every single game day, and so are 10 million active users. It's super easy. All you have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right, up to 1,000 times your cash. You can mix and match your favorite teams, players, whether it's collegiate or professional, and PrizePicks even tries to help your lineup win. Every single Tuesday, they do have Taco Tuesday, which is a 25% discount on a player's projected stats. And every Friday, they have Flex Friday, which is win or your money back guaranteed up to $20. So this being Tuesday, I'm going to take advantage of that Taco Tuesday deal on Damian Lillard. They're going to give me a nice discount on 26.5 points. It is now 22.5 points. Dame really starting to feel himself here towards the home stretch of the playoffs. So I am going to go more with Damian Lillard. But I am going to go less with De'Aaron Fox, 23.5 points. I do think the San Antonio Spurs could be a little bit aggressive for that defense. So I'm going to go ahead and take less for De'Aaron Fox. Damian Lillard, I will take the more. You guys can copy mine or go on ahead and make your own by downloading the PrizePicks app using promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code CLNS. That'll give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. There's a new kid on the block, and his name is Miles Norris. He was signed to a 2-way contract on the last day that NBA teams were able to sign players to that type of deal. That did mean they did waive Anton Watson, who was the second-round pick for Boston in 2024 NBA draft. But seeing how well Miles Norris is playing right now in the G League, he was playing for the Memphis Hustle, I see why Brad decided to sign him. You're getting a 6'7" option off the bench, weighing about 220 pounds. He did go undrafted in 2023. He went to Santa Barbara, but he has signed a two-way contract in the past with the Atlanta Hawks, and he's been more recently playing for the Memphis Hustle, which is the Grizzlies G League team, and he's been absolutely lighting it up for them, and I see why. Brad Stevens was like, we need this kid in some way, shape, or form in a Boston uniform. He averaged 17.1 points per game, 5.5 boards, 1.5 assists, and this is the number that I know Mazulla and Stevens loved. 39% from the three-point line. That is a huge reason why he is now playing for Boston. And a guy like Miles Norris, knowing that he's going to have that height, and we have the option to bring him off the bench in case the Celtics are in kind of a pinch with the center depth that we've been dealing with Kristaps Porzingis and Luke Cornett being injured and such, I do think Miles Norris can play that power forward center position if needed in a very, very tight crunch. But he did speak to reporters here today, and he said, I think stretching the floor is my biggest strength. I shoot the ball really well from there. from three, I shoot the ball really well from three. So spacing the floor, having those guys be able to attack an ISO, I know we've got a lot of scores on this team, so just being able to stretch the floor, I play defense as well. So we know what he is now capable of bringing, and he understands his job is not to be Peyton Pritchard and score 20 points a night off the bench for us. It's more of a pinch, but he knows that he can come in and shoot threes and play defense to help the Boston Celtics, and that's ultimately what two-way players need to be. An opportunity for Boston to possibly go down to their end of the bench and say, all right, what can you do for us in this short period of time? He did visit with Boston in the pre-draft era, so he has spoken with Brad Stevens and Joe Mazulla before they decided to select somebody else in that process. And he also did play one season at Oregon with Peyton Pritchard, so he's got a familiar face on the team with him. And I think what's really interesting for Brad Stevens, he's very organized and predictable. The reason why he probably ended up signing Norris is because of what he was able to do against the Maine Celtics. Brad loves players that dominate against his team. That's what brought Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. Because when he played in Washington, he dominated against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Well, Norris dominated every single time he played against the Maine Celtics, so they have been watching him. They have known, hey, if we can give you our best and you can completely destroy it, then maybe you should be a part of our best. So now that Anton Watson is gone, here are the latest two-way contracts. You can only have 3 on your roster. Drew Peterson, who actually got some early minutes the other night, so Joe Mazulla has been working Peterson into the rotation. J.D. Davison, more of your garbage time type of guard, but now we're very intrigued to see how Miles Norris is going to fit into the rotation, if at all. Because with one open roster spot, Brad may be able to sign one of these guys to a standard contract before the NBA playoffs. Will it be Norris? Will it be Peterson or Davison? So let me ask you guys this. Miles Norris, wearing number 44 now for the Boston Celtics. If he's ever on YouTube, go on ahead and spam 44 in the comment section down below. That way he feels some love. I don't care if it's two-way player, a general manager, a water boy, or your starter for the Celtics. Show him some love in the comment section down below. As always, if the Boston Celtics make any more moves or the latest on Holiday and Porzingis injury updates, we're going to talk about it right here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. So all you guys have to do is subscribe.